Well, hello, friends. Welcome to What If Wednesday. I'm Mindy Odlin, and this week we are in the midst of the launch of our Ramp Up Challenge. So I've got the studio stuff all behind me, and I'm really excited because so many of you have stepped up and joined us as we are ramping up into membership of the What If Up Club. So excited about that. I'm going to share more with you about that at the end of today's What If Wednesday check-in. But first, I want to share with you a new book came out that I think is really fascinating, and I've just started reading it. Not done yet, not halfway through, but it's fascinating. It's from the Gallup organization, and most of us know Gallup because they're the people who poll us, who ask us questions, and then they synthesize that data and find trends. So this is the newest book by Gallup I just got. It's called Blind Spot: The Global Rise of Unhappiness and How Leaders Missed It. So I want to share with you just some of the takeaways that I've discovered so far about from this book, Blind Spot. And really the ultimate question that is coming up for me is, where are we looking for happiness? What does it mean to be happy? And as you look at the trends for how many people worldwide are finding themselves in that place where happiness, or it's another word for well-being as they're defining it, or well-being of people in general is suffering, is falling behind. So first of all, the question is, where do you look for happiness? And one of the chapters, this is like chapter 2 in here, that I found fascinating, is called Unhappiness and Elections. And the thing that struck me about this is it talked about the correlation between how unhappy people are, or the lack of well-being in a person's life, and how we tend to vote. That when we are feeling good and happy, that we tend to vote for whoever's currently in power. And if we are feeling unhappy, we tend to want to switch parties. And that's when we tend to vote for change. We want something to change. And we look outside to see, like, okay, it's their fault. We need a new government. We need something else happening out there. So I thought this would be a good chance to sort of touch base about happiness. I think a lot of times in our spiritual circles, we hear that it's all within, like everything is sourced within. And there's a lot of power in that belief system, right? Because if I take on full responsibility for my happiness, it puts me in a position where I'm not the victim. I'm empowered because it's up to me. It also puts me in a position where I'm not blaming everybody around me for my unhappiness. And what we know is that victim story and that the energy of blame are counterproductive to creating the changes that we want to see. So it's a great belief system to step into, is that I am 100% responsible for my happiness. Now, as I look at the Gallup organization and the polls and what they measure well-being by, what I see is there's 5 things that they are measuring. First is career. And in career, the thing that strikes me the most is it's not just that you've got employment, it's that you have work that is meaningful to you, work where you feel like you are valued and where your gifts are being used and you feel like you're working for a positive purpose. I remember once I had a job, one of my first jobs out of college, I was working at an advertising agency, and part of the job was creating ads for military equipment. And it was like not it's like, this is the kill ratio of this fighter jet. So I get that those things need to be out there, but it was not a good fit values wise for me. It didn't feel like something I wanted to invest my time in is promoting this. I have a different value system. I wanted to do something else. So when you're doing something 24/7, you're doing a job that is consuming your life and you don't feel values aligned with it. You don't feel like you're serving the world in the way that you are called to serve the world, then that leads to unhappiness and a lack of well-being. So the first thing is, are you doing work that is meaningful to you? Are you doing something that feels like it's purposeful? Second thing is socially, your relationships with your friends, with your family. One of the things that I love about our What If Up Club is the connections that people make and the friendships that people build, because those are so important to well-being and happiness. I found so many people that have come into our community when they're in one of those ebbs, when they're in sort of a down place in their life, and they find that the encouragement they find in this community is something that helps them lift themselves up into greater happiness. So yes, it is an internal journey, and yes, it can be embellished and enriched by the things that are happening beyond us, outside of us. So the social connections are so important. The third thing they measure is financially, are you in a healthy place? And so the quote that I love from this is, it says that they found that money doesn't buy happiness, but it's hard to be happy without it. So there are certain basic needs that need to be fulfilled in order for us to move into a space of well-being. If you're struggling to have a roof over your head and to have food on your table, that the statistics show it is much more difficult to step into well-being and thriving. So there's the financial piece, physical piece, same with your health. When you are physically ill, it's more difficult to step into thriving and happiness and well-being. And community is the fifth piece. And that's one of the things that we value in our What If Up community, is not only our connection with each other, our friendship with each other, but how do we use the things that we're learning here to make the world a better place, to make our communities a better place for all people. So those are the 5 things. And what I notice in them is that some of them are very internal. Do you feel a sense of purpose? Do you feel a sense of connection? Do you feel and give love in terms of your social relationships? And some of them are externally focused as well. Your finances, that's a factor. So how do we create in the outer world as we are also creating from the inner world? I think of it like a breath, that there is the inhale and there is the exhale. There is the work that we do within to notice how we are feeling, to notice how we are perceiving things. And there is the work that we are doing externally, which is the action that we take. It is the cause and effect. What do we take? What do we do with those insights, and how do we translate them into inspired action? So if you're kind of thinking this is something that maybe you've been doing the internal work for a long time and it hasn't manifested in the outer world in the way you've wanted just yet, or maybe you've been busy doing, and you've got a level of financial success, or success as the world measures it, but internally you're not feeling fulfilled. If there's a piece of that that's missing, usually it just means that we're either breathing in a lot, doing the inner work, or we're breathing out a lot, but there's not a sense of balance. One of the things that we do in our What If Up community is create that balance, that there is the inhale of the inner assessment. How does this feel? Am I on track? Do I feel on purpose? Am I experiencing love? Am I experiencing forgiveness? Is there a flow of positive emotion in my relationships? There's that piece of it. And there's also the very tactical side of it. What if you take this action? What if you reach out to this resource? What if you read this book and get some insights that you can share? So it is both. And to really be a conscious creator, in my opinion, it requires us to put our attention into both areas, both the inner and the outer, to breathe in and to breathe out. And as we become masterful at that, then to practice expanding that breath, to breathe in deeply, to breathe in mindfully, to breathe out mindfully, intentionally, as we take the good that is within us, the positive emotions that are within us, the healthiness that is within our mental state, and share it externally. So that is the challenge. And as we ramp up into membership in the What If Up Club, our new 5-day challenge is out. You can sign up for it. It is free. It's at whatifup.org. And you'll get 5 challenges, video-based challenges. So you watch the video, they're about 20 minutes each. And then there's a challenge that goes with each one. And it's designed to give you an introduction to this model of conscious creating. How do you get from where you are to where you want to be? What are the areas in your life where you feel like, yeah, I'm pretty solid there. Like in this area of my life, things are going really well. So I want more of that. I want to expand that good. And then to also be able to look at what's happening in your current reality and say, these are the areas where I'd love to make a shift. I'd love to move things in a different direction. I'd like to reverse some of the momentum that's taking me away from what I want and begin building momentum towards the things that I actually want to create. So the 5-day challenge is designed to help you become aware of the model of conscious creation and then step into it one piece at a time, from using our imagination, innovating, coming up with new ideas, new possibilities, and then bringing that into our wisdom, bringing that into inspired action, and using the power of community to expand beyond what our mind can do on its own. There is so much more that we can do in community. So that's the invitation. If you haven't joined us yet, it is a challenge that is in progress. You can join us at any time, whatifup.org, and then obviously come into our Facebook community and engage, share the challenge, or you can also join one of our small groups. And we've got more information on that coming up in the next few weeks as well. So lots of exciting things happening this month in the What If Up Club. Thank you so much for being a member of our community, for doing the work, for being intentional and conscious in what you want to create, and sharing the journey with us so that we can be a part of it, so that we can celebrate your progress and we can be a part of it, helping each other expand and grow in ways that are beyond what we can do on our own. So thanks for joining me for this What If Wednesday. I hope you have a fantastic week. Look forward to connecting with you here in the challenge in our community. I will be here cheering for you at every step. Looking forward to seeing your next win. Have a great week, everybody. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.